Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday Tirade Entertainment Talk Show. Today we have a special guest with us. It's Andre from Midnight's Edge. Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, likewise. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. I like I said, I'm quite honored. I appreciate you being here today. I know Tom's otherwise obligated, and
that's my fault. So it's only fair that I come join you.
Well, we have a lot of news stories out there to talk about. They seem very bat-centric. Today.
Yeah, they do. And I have to say, I have to share a story.
Yeah.
I'm really annoyed with all of the bat-centric news that we have today. It's not your fault, obviously. I blame Matt Reeves and all of the bad robot buttholes around him because we at Midnight said we've been working the whole day on a video, and luckily we hadn't gotten far in editing, but scripting is where everything takes time, and we got the script into a really, really good shape, started recording and everything, and then this whole Matt Reeves news drops, and then the whole video is instantly out of date. So I'm grateful that it happened before we actually dropped it, but still it's annoying having wasted all day. I mean, that's a risk of doing this kind of business with breaking news.
It is, and I've had those same things happen before, where I'm on the cusp of releasing something, and all of a sudden, everything changed.
Yeah,
and I think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to be suffering under the weight of that with Warner Brothers Discovery for quite some time, because I think so too.
But by and large, though, that's a good thing, because it's breaking some eggs, which is much, much needed.
Oh, yeah. They need to break something. You know what? We're not going to hold back. We're not going to bury the lead. We're going to jump right on this story, and then we'll say hi to everybody here in just a moment. But this is what we're referring to, folks. This is a broader story, and it's only going to get more broad as time goes on. With the Batman director, Matt Reeves, out there now with a multi-year first look deal at Warner Brothers, this changes the whole landscape, and it kind of essentially tells JJ he's done.
It does indeed. They found a new JJ.
Yeah, they did. Probably somebody who's a little bit more focused on the genre, right? Somebody who's not trying to put a bunch of messaging inside of it. I don't know. I mean, what are your feelings or thoughts around that, Andre?
Well, I haven't had much time to research this lately, because I've obviously been busy here. But
obviously,
I'm not happy about this, because he found his new JJ, and this obviously means that JJ is out, because he's had now 3 huge projects canceled in the last couple of weeks. There are 2 of them in the span of 36 hours, 24 hours, something like that. So basically, he's out. His lies have been exposed to Hollywood. They now see him for what he is, which is what we've seen him as for years, but he's deluded Hollywood, but not anymore. Just like China, they've realized that it might look cool, but we don't actually make any money on this.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But what I don't like is that then they go and they make a deal with Matt Reeves. Matt fucking Reeves. And I gotta tell you, I've never liked him. I've never been impressed with his movies. People keep on saying, well, didn't you see Planet of the Apes? Wasn't that amazing? Yeah, I saw it. I fucking hated it. This guy is a bad robot alum. This is J.J. Abrams all over again. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything he does is the bad robot business model. I mean, that is one of the things that we're going to salvage for the video that we were working on. Basically, this is JJ's apprentice, and the apprentice has just now taken over the master. So I'm not happy with this deal in the slightest.
Wow. That's I had a completely different take until you brought that to light, because my thoughts were, well, this is JJ's gone, maybe we'll get something good, but you're indicating that that's unlikely based on.
No, I don't think so. I don't think you're going to get anything good. I think you're going to be getting Bad Robot 2.0, because you're not dealing with Bad Robot directly here, but you're dealing with a Bad Robot apprentice who now has his own company. You know what else is like that? Secret Hideout with Alex Kurtzman. Same deal. This is the exact same deal as Kurtzman and Secret Hideout. I forget the name of Matt Reeves' company, but it's the exact same thing. I mean, case in point, this Batman animated series that just got canceled.
Crusader, yeah.
Who else worked on it? Matt Reeves.
Wow.
Him and JJ are tight. Well, that means that JJ still can have influence by way of this guy.
You think that Zaslav is unaware of that? Do you think that?
I think that Zaslav has surrounded himself with bad Hollywood people that he should not have surrounded himself with. I also had the conversation with Tom, and much of these are like his thoughts, because he's the one who said much of this, and I agree with it. He has just like researched it before me, but it's obvious. Like Zaslav, he doesn't know too much about the film side, and then he has made some hires to help him out. For instance, he brought Alan Horn out of retirement. Big mistake. And then he also brought out like some other people to help him out, DeLuca and stuff like that. These are Hollywood establishment types, and Hollywood establishment types are going to Hollywood establishment. My worry is that Zaslav has surrounded himself with people that he thinks are going to help him, but that really are going to fight the Hollywood establishment cause. And that's what I see right here. I don't see how this is going to help Zaslav in the slightest. This is just the next generation of the Hollywood establishment.
Wow.
That's what I think. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. I'm not happy about this.
Clearly, and you've reinformed my opinion as well. I wasn't aware. Now, Michael DeLuca's pretty detached from the Hollywood machine itself, in my opinion, because he's been out there. He should have been in charge of Warner Brothers all along. It could be argued that had he been over there beforehand, as the guiding hand on the wheel, perhaps he and his partner Abdi. He and she could have led things in a different direction, but
perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know. I find this is bad news then, because I was thinking, hey, this is
my opinion. In my opinion, it's very bad news. Especially for anyone that were like hoping for something resembling the Snyderverse going forward. This is disastrous news.
Wow. Gosh. Well, there you go, folks. Disastrous news for Warner Brothers. Completely the opposite opinion that I would have expected. But thank you, Andre. I'm now more informed. I think so.
I like subverting expectations.
Well, you did.
Yeah. No, because everyone knows that I was never big on the Batman.
Yeah, me either.
I was against that movie from day one. But unlike everyone else, I wasn't against it because of Robert Pattinson. I mean, yeah, fine, that was annoying, but that wasn't the big issue to me. No, the big issue to me, and I've been abundantly clear about this since day one, go back to our old videos and check, was always this fucking Bad Robot alumni.
Wow. So
this is Bad Robot 2.0, like just taking on a new disguise. This is like Hydra. Infiltrating shields.
One head.
Yeah.
One head.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting because I wasn't aware of his ties. I don't know why that ignorance existed within me, but it did. To JJ. But you get rid of JJ and another JJ pops up, I guess.
Exactly. I mean, Bad Robot, it really is like a locust. It's Hydra. It's the Hydra of entertainment. You get rid of one head and another one pops up.
Yeah,
that's literally true.
Yeah, that's amazing. And Dapper Bard Games, we will get to She-Hulk by the end. We've got about an hour, so we're going to cruise through a lot of these stories, folks. And normally it's a quick hello to everything, but Culture saves the cool intro music for streams I'm on. That's true. Yeah, you were on an amazing stream on Sunday, but thanks for being here. Somebody gave you a member. Yep. Siege Perilous. I think you got a membership through, I think Eric K or George, probably George, I believe, was the most recent donator over here. We are well over 200 members, Andre. I can't believe that.
That's awesome. Congrats.
I can't believe that, but I love it. It's great. And I thank you all. You're incredible. So rumor says, according to Siege Perilous, that the Snyderverse timeline doesn't fit, not Snyderverse in totality. At least I hope so. I'm not sure. I think Tom, who tweeted something out earlier, I'm not sure if you saw this, Andre, but he says this doesn't look good for the Snyderverse folks.
Oh, and Tom is entirely right.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom has been on top of this since day one. If you go and listen to our DC videos, I mean, I don't want to brag, but we've been knocking it out of the park. And
yeah, you
very
have.
much of that is because of Tom and Tom's sources who are on top of this.
Yeah.
And this is what we've been saying. This is what Tom's been saying. If you wanted Snyderverse, you had to boycott the Batman. Every single dollar that went to the Batman's coffers, that was a vote against the Snyderverse. So if you were a fan of Snyder and you went to see the Batman or paid for it in any way, shape, very sorry to say that you just got your own cost there. And yeah, this is disaster. This is absolute for everyone that wants a different. You can debate what the Snyderverse means, but just that whole continuity. This is a disaster for the prospect of this, for the return of Ben Affleck, the return of Henry Cavill, all of this.
They just signed a deal with Ben. But they just signed a deal with Ben.
Yeah, but that's like it for the whole studio. That wasn't for
studio
Batman.
deal, yeah.
Yeah, it's a studio deal. It may include Batman, but that's going to change, which depend on like which direction they're swaying. They're always going to go in the direction of what is most profitable. And if someone is able to convince them that okay, now it's more profitable to go with the Matt Reeves sub-universe direction here, we're going to put more into that. Then that's bad news for the main timeline, beginning with the Snyder continuity, isn't it? I mean, you basically with the Batman. This is what many don't understand. Yeah, it's like its own thing, but it's not like the Joker. The Joker is truly its own thing. That's like one movie, soon two. Whereas the Batman, that is a whole competing universe. So you have two competing DCs. This is what Bad Robot does. They make a legally separate version and they pit it against the original and they try to get rid of the original. That's what we have here. That's what the Batman universe is. It's a competing DC universe. And so far, it's just one movie. But with this deal right here, now the Penguin series, that just got a new lease on life. Like last week, that maybe wasn't happening. Last week, maybe Robert Pattinson wasn't returning. With this week, all of that just got like a major shot in the arm, right?
But then the next question is this, because I mean, I know holding deals and things like that. This is just a first look deal. JJ had a first look deal to the $2.5 billion, and he got.
That's the hope.
That
is the hope. Because he also had a first look deal, and literally nothing has come out of it. Like I'm now even hearing that the Constantine series, which I've desperately wanted to see die, is dead. I hope that's accurate.
No, I was telling Tom that the other day. I'd heard it's toast, and there's some other stuff that I think is toast too.
And you can always hope that this is going to be like the J.J. Abrams deal. Same thing with the Benioff and Weiss deal over at Netflix. It's a first look, and nothing will ever come of it since. That's the hope here.
Yeah, and 6 is promoting the playlist of all the latest you guys put together, all the latest videos. So do check this playlist out. Well worth your time. It'll get you all caught up on this stuff. So that's.
And we also, like, if you just go to the playlist like sub menu or header, whatever you want to call it, we have a ton of other playlists, like all the Star Wars, all the DC. All Conan, all of that is in separate playlists already for easy convenience.
I love that. I love that. I'm really lousy at separating my content, so I appreciate that you guys do a great job of that. Gosh, well, see, so that's funny how all these stories are interrelated now. I mean,
They are.
we're looking at so many changes within Warner Brothers Discovery as an entity. I have a video coming out tomorrow about the overall circumstances that the streaming services are dealing with, and how maybe their switch to ad tier is not exactly going to be beneficial to them. And then we had this story break today. The filmmakers, the two directors, the director, co-director folks, they kind of tried to go in and like add footage to the server while they were on their wedding vacation.
Yeah. Yeah. They tried to add footage to the server. Exactly. They tried to put something in. Very nice political way of saying they were trying to get the screener.
Yeah, we're trying to get exactly. They were trying to get their footage out of the server. That's why I put in quotes on the screen that add in. But they discovered they couldn't even access the server any longer. So not only did they shelve this thing, they got rid of everybody's access to it. Yeah. So this thing will never see the light of day.
What I have been told, and this is not Tom or anything like this. This is what I have been told. They wanted to or figuratively burn the negatives, burn the movie. It is never to see the light of day ever.
Wow.
And obviously, like the first thing that they knew was that someone is going to leak this unless we shut it down. And this is kind of like the problem with filming everything digitally. There's no physical copies whatsoever. So you lock the directors out of the just revoke their access, and it's gone. And you know what's also possible? I'm not saying this definitely has happened, but if they never want the thing to be
it's deleted
to be released, all they have to do is go into that service, press delete. Are you sure you want to delete? Yes, and it's gone forever.
All of it. Yeah, I blows my mind, right? I mean, it's so funny because you kept hearing these guys talk about, well, maybe it'll come out, we'll push for it, we'll try to get it released elsewhere or whatever. And you know that Zaslav's open to that because during his quarterly call, did you get a chance to listen to the whole thing?
Not yet, no.
Yeah, because during his quarterly call, he said we're open for business, right? We're willing to sell our content to others, right? Or limited release of their licenses to a certain extent.
Yeah, and that's actually what's happening with the animated Batman series, which I'm sure we'll get to. That's what happened with the Sandman series. That's why that's on Netflix and not on HBO Max, where it by right should have been.
And I think honestly that's not a bad plan because I mean that's how the studios operate and make money. They're desperate to make money. They have studio facilities to do everything all the time. They can make a lot of material all at once. They don't necessarily have to service that on their own streaming services. They don't have to. They don't have to do their own.
Just think back to Marvel.
Yeah.
Right now, everything that they make is under Marvel Studios. But just a few years ago, they licensed TV rights to Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
They licensed them to Fox with like those mutant series. I forgot their names and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they picked up hundreds of millions of dollars by doing so.
Yeah.
And this is what Zaslow has said. He has never said that, we're going to put everything in one basket and do everything ourselves. No, he said, I'm going to make money. And the way to make money by that partially is to outsource things. Not to outsource, but to license and collect licensing revenue.
Yeah. And distribute elsewhere, right? And they've been, I mean, you go back even farther than that. I mean, Paramount had the license to Marvel, for that period of time. I mean, that's where we got, I think the first Thor movie and obviously the first Iron Man film, right? That was Paramount still?
Yes, that was Paramount. It was Marvel Studios that was the production company, but they needed funding. They didn't have distribution facilities. So they entered a distribution deal with Paramount for the first few movies there, right up until they were bought out of that deal by Disney. because the deal was originally for longer, but Disney bought them out from the Avengers onwards.
Yeah, it was probably the best move they could have done. And you weren't seeing double, folks. Tom joined us just a few moments ago. Tom, you want to weigh in on any of the stories we covered so far? Yay or nay?
I like turtles.
Excellent. That's a great place to
What
start.
are we talking about?
Well, we were just talking about this. Whoops, and I just removed it from the stream. There we go. Batgirl. We were talking about the them going into ad things on the server, discovering that they couldn't add things.
I'm sure as soon as Zaslav knew he was going to kill this fucker, they took everything off the servers before anybody knew anything, so this fucker didn't leak out along with all the other movies.
Yeah. I have a feeling that this thing's gone. Consider this, that the guy that was making that Scoob film, right? The Scoob thing, he'd already hired an orchestra to do the scoring for it. So he recorded the score anyway, paid the orchestra, but I don't know. Was he able to actually like add that to the server? Did his credentials get pulled? Do we know? It's interesting.
Yeah, they're honestly, if I were them, I wouldn't even be admitting to this.
I don't. Well, they probably figured they have nothing to lose.
Well,
which of course they do. But,
I was going to say, because what they're saying that they would have done if it would have leaked, like, let's just say for the sake of argument that they were to get their hands on some of the footage and it were to leak out, they would be facing some major legal ramifications.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, extremely. Now, so right now, if any does leak out, guess who the first fingers are going to be pointed at?
These directors.
Exactly. So this is the last thing I would have put out there.
Well, this is also them claiming innocence, though, saying, "Oh, well, we tried, but we couldn't get
claiming."
It. There's our defense.
But yeah, but at this point, if something does leak out, you know they're going to be the first ones looked at.
Yeah. And in terms of like access, you know what I would imagine? I would imagine that it's not just the director's access. I think it's everyone's access.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know how their system is built, but I would imagine that
it's like a server.
There's a super moderator, and this super moderator can go into a page where
just
you can
pull everybody's admins,
every single person that has access, and there's an option that says unhook everyone.
Yep. Yeah, believe me, I do that regularly. I remove ad access all day long to servers for the company. But if I think it's interesting, they say I went on the server, everything was gone, and the other fellow says we're like effing S, all the scenes with Batman in them.
That's interesting though, because that means that they actually got in with the server, but where the movie was supposed to be, it wasn't
anymore.
So it's not. So it's not like. It's not like they couldn't access it. It wasn't there, which is a different matter altogether. Because that means either it was deleted altogether or they took a copy and preserved it on the memory stick somewhere, depending on what they want to do. But if they are convinced this thing ain't never getting released because it's not part of our strategy, I wouldn't be wholly surprised if they just said, are you sure you want to delete? Yes, and it's gone, all of it.
That's amazing.
Well, I mean, it's somewhere, but here's my thing: is
I don't know.
For them to get the tax purposes, this movie cannot come out.
It can never show up anywhere.
So it's in some lawyers, like it's on a hard drive, probably in some lawyers' fucking safe somewhere.
I don't think it is. Yeah. I think Andre may be right. His first instinct probably was correct. I think somebody hit the big delete key.
Well, they're not going to delete everything. I think Andre's more right about the removal of access. It's still there. That's my point. The movie's probably still there. Just the only ones who have access to it are David Zaslav, and that's it. And probably a lawyer for
or maybe they
side or the other.
Maybe they saved just the Keaton scenes.
Well, either way, no, they're going to save everything. They need this. They need it for, I'm sure, all kinds of different purposes legally. But that's my point: is this, if this movie were to leak out, then I'm not so sure
they need it to never be seen.
That's my point. Yeah, so it's sitting somewhere between a lawyer and Zaslav. They have the probably only copies of it.
Air gapped. Yeah, that would be the only way to keep this thing safe forever. It cannot be on anything connected to the internet. It has to be.
Oh yeah, they probably removed it from those servers because that's my understanding. Is
it's probably on a USB stick.
Yeah, they have. Well, like I said, like a hard drive. That's usually how they do these things. Like, they have like this big main server farm or whatever that has all the video and everything put into it. Right?
Yeah, they have a network. Yeah, they have a network access.
And then different people have access to different amounts of whatever. Yeah. So what they probably just did is cut everybody's access off to Batgirl, House Party, any Scoob, to any of the movies that got shut down. All those people, their access got immediately cut off, like Andre said. And then any files and everything that got dumped to a hard drive. And then that hard drive was given to probably a lawyer who handles their tax shit.
Probably you're like, hey, buddy, hang on to this. It's kind of
well, yeah, because at that point, it's his responsibility to make sure that motherfucker don't ever get out. Because like even when they do music and stuff nowadays, like when they go to remaster stuff, the guys that'll get the musicians to I know this, they'll get actually a hard drive, a literal hard drive given to them with all the stems of the music on it that's been transferred to digital, and then all the actual physical material is put in a vault.
Well, it's one of these.
Yeah, basically.
It's this is a 2 terabyte portable hard drive. It is about the size of 4 credit cards stacked together, and that's what it's sitting on. And believe me,
and I guarantee each and every one of those that is made is encrypted to fuck.
Yeah.
And all kinds of other shit.
Well, we've kind of beat this one to pieces. Let's move on. We got more DC news to cover, and this is where Tom started to turn the wagon today when I was watching you on Twitter. Because I'm like, okay, this is JJ's last gasps at Warner, because the Cape Crusader is gone. The animated series from Bruce Timm, JJ Abrams, and Matt Reeves is not moving forward. They're going to shop it elsewhere. Interesting.
I'm surprised they can, but I'm sure Warner is fine if they get some money for it.
It's the same deal as Sandman. I mean, that was shopped to Netflix, and you would think that would be at HBO Max. So somehow they can. I think it's more interesting that here they have something which is so far into production that rather than just like preventing it from ever existing, they just don't want it on HBO Max and will instead monetize it by sending it somewhere else. But that means that they're giving away some Batman to others. I think that's interesting.
I don't think it'll go anywhere. I think that's just a placation, in my opinion, because if you look here, they're getting rid of Merry Little Batman, which I'm sure nobody was wanting to see. The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. Bye Bye Bunny, a Looney Tunes musical. Did I Do That to the Holidays, a Steve Urkel story, and The Amazing World of Gumball, the movie. So all of those are toast. So they're going to shop them to other platforms.
I'm kind of surprised the Gumball movie got killed, because I know that's pretty popular with the kids, but whatever. Must not be that popular anymore.
That one is actually being made by HB Studios, so everything else was under Warner Brothers Animation. You think they're going to get rid of their animation department?
They've been cutting a lot of their animation stuff.
Only if it can be like done cheaper elsewhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because surprisingly, the only I'm sure there's more, but the only animated show that I was keeping tabs on that I haven't heard anything on so far is the Gremlins one. And if that gets killed, that'll be the second or third time now a Gremlins series has not made its way to being released, even though it was in production. Yeah, they could be. I don't know. I mean, the Warner Brothers animation department, I mean, he did say they wanted to exploit the Looney Tunes and some other things. So this just may not fit the criteria of what he was wanting for the Looney Tunes and some other stuff like that, is what I'm thinking. Now, the Gumball thing, that was something my kid was into when he was a kid, so maybe the time has passed on that. And who the fuck wants an Urkel Christmas special?
I don't know.
Nobody asked for that. I mean,
is this going to be like grown up Urkel?
It's a cartoon, so I'm assuming that he's just going to be doing the
Okay.
voices and stuff. So it'll be like, well, Urkel already did kind of grow up in the series. I mean, he was technically an adult by the end. I mean,
Yeah, okay, fine. Is this going to be old man Urkel? Because
no,
that's
I
what he
think
is
it's just
now.
that's why it's animated, is so they can just kind of fudge the
Well,
age of it.
but there's even more to it than this, because I mean, you're seeing an outline come together for the Batman too, right?
Which is
Yeah.
surprising the piss out of me, but this
Blew my mind when I saw this, Tom. I'm like, wait a minute.
I have a reason to believe that why this is happening.
All right.
I'm not going to get too into it yet because I'm waiting to hear some things back. Andre may be able to kind of explain this a little bit better than I can, because I had to kind of give him all the like an information dump, and at this point we've had to kind of just
I don't want to
interpret it as best we can.
I don't want to step on your guys' video, because I know you guys have lots of them in
That's
production.
up to him how he wants to interpret this to you, because this is something that I've known some things about this, and I've never said it was off the table, but at the same time, this kind of takes me by surprise. I'm starting to wonder if Alan Horn isn't behind some of this, and that was one of the worst decisions Zaslav made.
Well, they needed somebody to redirect things, and I understand why they pulled Horn in. Horn was with most people don't, but you guys know this, but Horn used to be with Warner Brothers. He was there for 10, 12 years, and then he went to Disney for 10, 12 years.
Well,
he came back.
Here's my thing, and I have a feeling there was a conversation had with Alan Horn about Matt Reeves, and this. I have nothing to really go on at this point other than gut kind of speculation, but I'm wondering if Alan Horn didn't convince Zaslav that they need to keep somebody like Matt Reeves around for some dumb fucking reason that only makes sense to him. And that's, well, okay, it could make sense in a sense that, Warner Brothers used to be a very creator-friendly studio. And they've lost Christopher Nolan, they've lost a few other people through the Kalar situation. Maybe Horn convinced them that they need to keep Matt Reeves around, and sacrificing the Batman as part of it. Because this deal makes no sense to me. Because if Zaslav wants a more cohesive DC universe going forward, that's not what Matt Reeves wants. Matt Reeves comes from the JJ school. And if anybody knows what I mean by that, is he wants his own little pocket universe to play in, and nobody else gets to play with it. And that means no crossovers, no other bullshit. And I've even heard that if he uses certain characters, that means they're off limits outside of the main Batman cast.
But Tom, and you weren't here just yet when we were talking about this, and I'm with Andre here. Why are you making competing versions of the Batman? Why? You're causing.
I'm starting to wonder if Affleck's not done. If this is just a last hoorah.
I brought that up.
And we're going to get a hard reset here after a bit.
He wrote a studio deal, that because Andre and I were talking about that a few minutes ago. He wrote he's in a studio deal. Does that mean more Batman? Does that mean other films?
Mostly it means other films with the option of Batman. But again, this is what we were saying, because if they do a hard reboot of DC down the line, you know what the Batverse is? It's a hard reboot.
Not only that, it's a holdover if worse comes to worse.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Affleck's the better choice for Batman. I think
well, unfortunately, and I said this before, and I apologize to any Snyder fans that are in the chat. I tried to warn everybody, don't go see this fucking Pattinson movie if you're a Snyder fan, because it will kill the Snyderverse. And it may appear to be that's what has happened. The only thing I know is there was some resistance to doing a Batman 2 because it didn't make the $1 billion. But I'm starting to wonder, because I've been hearing this, whole deal that the Penguin was supposed to be a litmus test for the Batman 2. Now I'm starting to wonder if it's not a litmus test to see if they're going to release it theatrically or just on streaming. Because that's the only thing I heard that saved the Batman's ass, mainly, was, this is going back months, was that it did okay on HBO Max. Yeah, it did make the $1 billion, but it did really well for them on HBO Max, from what I heard. Especially in comparison to the Snyder Cut, which I heard most people didn't finish watching.
No. Tom, I made it through not even 15 minutes of it, dude. And I still haven't gone back to it. I didn't find it compelling in any way.
Well, and that's what I had heard is like well over half the people that watched it didn't finish it.
Yeah, that's not good numbers. And that's what the streamers have an advantage of seeing when people dip on their service. That's why I'm surprised that, Marvel TV is still running the way it's running, because the dip out time, the on these shows is not very long. Usually people are gone by the third or fourth episode, and sometimes they're gone in the first episode. You can actually see what out time is, on that side of the equation. You can actually see when the majority of your audience is tagging out of the show. You can see the people who fast forward through parts of it. You can see a lot of stuff if you want to drill down. It's very frustrating. I really want access to all that stuff. We'll never get it, but I want it. So anyway, wow, we're cooking through these subjects, and I'm happy.
So that's the thing, is I'm not 100% sure that the Snyderverse is coming back.
Mm. All right. Can I ask a quick question to both of you?
Sure.
What do you think? Because we just had 2 brand new shows release on streaming services. We've got another one coming up in less than 2 weeks. That are big, giant dollar things. We had She-Hulk come out with Tatiana Maslany, which Chris Gore can't say enough positive about. So I'm hoping to see some positive in the next episode. We had House of the Dragon, which, if you caught my review today, which I was a day late in releasing because I wasn't even inspired to release it yesterday, which was the plan. That thing I feel pretty flat on. And then we have, of course, Amazon's Rings of Power coming out in a week and change now. We're not that far away. Do you think the streamers are going to come to realize that they have some problems here, that they're going to start losing more North American subscribers, which is where they're getting their ARPU right now? Just curious.
Can you say that one more time?
You've had Disney releasing She-Hulk, pretty decent sized budget. The success of the Marvel shows has been, I'm going to be kind and say hit and miss, but really mostly miss. You have obviously this at the same time. You had House of Dragon open up just a few days afterwards, which in my estimation is pretty blah. And that I don't know that, despite its premier audience, and that was pretty big numbers, nearly 10 million people.
I'm gonna say it's getting pretty decent reaction, even from some of the worst critics, I would say.
Right, but there wasn't anything that happened that you couldn't have written down on a note card ahead of time. And then the third thing is obviously Amazon releasing the Rings of Power here in less than 2 weeks, I think. Is that right? So do you think the streamers are maybe coming to grips with the idea that they're dumping an awful lot of money into these shows that maybe don't have any return on them?
I think they're coming to grips with it now. They didn't come to grips with it when they needed, which was when they spent money. That was when they were expecting the return ain't coming. And I still understand what kind of collective madness through all of them. When like 10 years ago, when they were really killing the Blu-ray and the DVD market with higher margins.
Way higher margins.
With barely any margins. So I guess they get what's coming to them.
Yeah, I don't know. Tom, thoughts? Tom must have stepped away.
I don't know half of what Andre said there, but I think he was talking about the Blu-ray and DVD market getting killed.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I still don't understand what possessed them to move away from that.
It doesn't make financial sense. They cut off 4 different legs they were getting.
Well, at least in the case of Zaslav, I mean, I don't think he's going to abandon physical media anytime soon.
No.
I know that for some reason there's this persistent thing going around, and there's a prominent Blu-ray news site on YouTube that's going around freaking out about it right now. But I really don't understand the cause or the basis for his freak out, because it's like Warner Brothers has hands down been the most friendliest to home video ever of everybody in the last few years. Like, everything comes out, even 3D versions that nobody else is doing. So Warner Brothers is still on top of all that stuff. They make sure that it gets a home video release if it can. So my point is when they're pulling all this stuff off of HBO Max, it's popping up right away on VOD and other places. And chances are, if it hasn't already had a home video release, I bet it's going to get one.
Yeah.
There makes no sense for them to just sit on this. This is what he wants to do. He wants to diversify the hell out of everything. That's why I'm not surprised if JJ was like, well, can I shop it somewhere else? He's like, yeah, just bring me a check.
Yeah. Well, that's actually part of his strategy. He said it in the earnings call. Make sure we get paid. Make sure we get paid. That's a theme with this guy. And to answer your question, 6, I should be able to put that together tonight. So it should come out tomorrow. And her thoughts on She-Hulk are going to be interesting because we didn't really talk in depth because we watched it at separate times. So we'll see what the boss says about that. But it's going to be bananas. Bananas. All right. Well, goodness. Well, let's do this because this kind of feeds into everything. This is the source of all of our woes, at least if you listen to Jeremy from the Quartering, Tim Pool over at his outlet, and many others. You're seeing things exposed that maybe we didn't anticipate, like Twitter. The whistleblower, which made their complaint to the federal government more than a month ago, apparently, came out and said that there are massive problems with cybersecurity. There might be foreign powers or foreign agents active at the company, and that they clearly misstated the actual number of bots that they have on their platform. Which, from a business side of things, I know several of us understand that, but you're in big trouble if you misstate things willfully, especially in an earnings call or any kind of financial conversation around your corporation. That's bad news. If you've submitted false filings, you're in even bigger trouble. So, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, hopefully the people responsible at Twitter will be in big trouble. But somehow, I suspect they're going to slide away. But I would be very, very happy if this one way or the other led to Elon Musk returning to the fray. I doubt that's going to happen, but still, it only goes to show just how rotten to the core that is. It's bad for people. It's bad for business. It's bad for investment. It's bad for the nation. It's universally bad for everything. How is this thing not regulated? How is this thing allowed to continue operating as it does?
Well, and that's, I think a lot of people are going to land on the idea that not only was Elon right, he probably had some pretty decent inside information from his friend Jack Dorsey, who he's subpoenaing. Do you realize how much this is opening up everybody on the board and every influential decision maker in that company by having a whistleblower come out and say the word egregious is in quotes here? That's a problem, right? So, the shares have fallen off the table. Of course, a lot of shares are falling today, so I can't really cite that outright. But being exposed like this and the fact that Musk wants to pull out of the deal at $44 billion. Maybe he wants it for a cheaper price, but I think that, that price is going to be much, much cheaper. And I don't think that the court in Chancery is going to actually force Musk to buy it based on what's likely.
Oh, no, this is great for his case, right?
Yeah.
Like, at this point, this is going to put him in the driver's seat no matter what it is. And this is no surprise. We all knew it. Of course, the last couple of years have been nothing but like, oh, duh. So in this case, we knew he was right. We knew that he had every reason and rhyme to hit the brakes. And the fact that there's whistleblowers coming out. Yeah, a lot of people lost some money if this doesn't work out.
There's a lot of people that put money in thinking, oh, it's not even close to what he's going to offer or pay for it. So let's earn some easy money on this stock. Well, maybe not. Because these are the quotes, extreme egregious deficiencies. That's not good. It says,
as you said, the term egregious is not very
too many,
especially in a legal setting, is not good.
Yeah, too many employees had access to sensitive information,
Yeah,
and
that's not good.
oversight was inadequate. Again, this is coming from their chief security guy that they essentially threw out the door. I mean, I wonder why they threw him out the door. He's probably going, "Hey, can we fix these things? Because if we get bought, we're in big trouble."
Well, not only that, I'm sure they don't want a lot of this getting out there because it shows how vulnerable Twitter really is too underneath it all.
And he also says, and this is bad. This is really, really bad. Zatko, this engineer, the Twitter security guy, said that Twitter had violated the terms of an 11-year-old settlement with the FTC. Oops.
I just hope there's going to be some very real consequences for this. Because what I wonder is how much stuff do we have to hear? We've heard so much. And I would have liked to have seen some kind of oversight, but there's been nothing. There's been a few hearings and stuff at worst that they incredibly were able to slide away from.
What is really frustrating is a redacted version got sent to Congress. Why? Why was it redacted? What is in here, right? That you don't want, somebody exposing to the general public as a member of Congress. Because that's why you would redact it. Interesting.
Very interesting. Indeed.
Anyway, I thought that would be fun to cover because I know you guys don't normally get to talk about stuff like that on your channel.
Yeah, I know. There's a little bit besides what we cover is so depressing and so infuriating at the same time.
Yeah, but I know this, and just to get back on track in the entertainment sphere while we wrap up, I kind of want to rework through my reaction for this film because I released my review on it today, which was kind of meh about this House of Dragon thing, but apparently it still drew a lot of eyeballs. 10 million people.
I'm surprised.
Yeah,
it's about 7 million less than the finale of the last one, but yeah.
It's true, but again, this is just the beginning of this, and people are going to catch up on it over the course of the next few days. People may not have heard about it, even though they spent $100 million in promotion on this show. Can you believe that number? That's insane. But Samba TV, so connected TV devices with the Samba chip in them, recorded 2.5 million. In the first few hours of its release, 2.5 million views. Wow. The balance of it obviously would have been the other streaming devices and, of course, the linear, which is probably 50% of this total audience, at least here in the United States. So, in fact, 9.986 million viewers across linear and HBO Max platforms in the U.S. on Sunday. It's the largest audience for any new series in the history of HBO.
That's actually much more than I had anticipated. They might have a hit on their hands with this if they're able to retain that kind of viewership. And I did not see that many checking in, not after season 8.
I mean, I can't sit here and go, oh, I knew it, but I did, and I think even a few other people agreed with me that there is a chance that, the normies just didn't give as much of a shit about the ending to where to them it's just more,
I don't really know. I mean,
I think they were hurt by it, but
yeah,
evidently not enough to
interest.
I think a lot of the rage was in just how much of a letdown the last 4 episodes of the last season were, right? There was no payoff, and HBO was going to open its wallet for many more years to come for the original series. So, it's not surprising to me they went looking for another version of it, which is what this is. And I just didn't anticipate as many people coming back to watch it. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Fun story.
They kind of needed this to be a hit considering how much money was spent on it.
I just think this was a complete roulette spin, right? Because how often does lightning hit twice in the same spot? It just doesn't. You don't get lightning in a bottle more than once. So this is if it continues to succeed, we'll see.
Well,
but
here's the thing, though. They hit lightning in the bottle with the Game of Thrones brand.
Mm-hmm.
This is a continuation of the Game of Thrones brand. So, yeah, you could argue that lightning doesn't strike twice. If this was something completely different,
Well,
if they had Eragon or something, then yeah, I agree that then we're talking like lightning striking twice. But this is like a continuation of the same, or a prequel rather, but still.
yeah, and Jane just said something that I believe is probably going to be an overriding thing because Matt Smith killed his role, right? So she came back for the dragons and she stayed because of Daemon Targaryen, right? I think that's going to be the overriding theme here. And boy, is he brilliant! Let me tell you, what a great actor.
His best role so far. Like I think like he's a great character actor. Is he a great actor as a whole? I don't know. He's certainly a great character actor, and I do believe of all the roles I've seen him in, I think this may be the best one. Like this is where he truly found himself. This is someone that really excels at like villainous roles more so than anything else, in my view. And here, yeah, he really got to go wild with it.
Oh, I'm sorry. 6 posted a member chat that I don't see. So shoot. I need to get better at that. Member chats are hard.
They are. It's such a pain in the ass that the software we use don't pick up on them.
Here we go. There it is. Tim Hayes is a member for 7 months, reward club member. Thank you, brother. Appreciate your support. It says, hello, Culture. I hope you're having a great day. I am. I hope they're having a great day. Sounds like they made some great magical stuff for us to watch. Can't wait to see it. So, yeah. Are you guys having a good day?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been a long day.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I had to fire my cat twice. I got a real life Tom and Jerry going on in my fucking house.
Theliato says Matt Smith's definitely a high point. He's morbid all over this show. There you go.
It's morbid time.
So we've turned that into an adjective now. Good gracious.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, he did chew up the scenery like a puppy, Dosfulfin, indeed. Mr. Tickletrunk for a Canadian $5. Good to see you, bro. Says, people are so desperate for something to play with. 10 million people scrambled to that Game of Thrones toy. They loved that the neighborhood Billy peed on. Yeah.
Very good comparison right there.
Yeah.
Which only goes to show that people cared about that little thing that the bully peed on more than first imagined.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. 6 is like, I'm having a great day now that you read the member chat. I got it. And Jane Theory is just going to drool over Matt, which I can't blame you. Really, you did ask a good question, Andre. Is he a good actor? I have not seen him do anything bad. Is he a great character actor? Well, pretty clearly. Is he a great actor overall? Has he had the opportunity?
Well, I don't think that you can be like a great character actor without being a good actor at the same time. It's more rather of like, what kind of roles are you? Like, are you someone that's perfect in the background, or are you the lead that everyone can't get their eye off? And I think he's more of a character actor than a leading man, but that's me. But as a character actor, putting in a lead role as a villain, perfection. But that's me. Like, it's just my subjective take on it.
You know, for a long time, you have to consider Pat Morita was considered a character actor, right? Until he got his definitive role as Mr. Miyagi late in his career, right? Because, I mean, he was in a lot of television programs, a lot of films where he wasn't.
Even then, I would still consider him more of a character actor, right?
Absolutely. Like, I mean, that's character actor right
kind of solidifying it right there. Yeah. I mean, and then he got the Oscar for playing, I think it was best or nomination for supporting, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was supporting actor in that film. Yeah. So he was so beloved. I mean, I remember him as Al in Happy Days. I'm an old guy, you know, but.
Well, and it would have been a whole different story. I mean, the short version is they wanted Mifune, Toshiro Mifune. Is that how you say his name? Yeah, but he was too dark. And they said, well, what about Pat Morita? And they're like, the dude from Happy Days? He's a fucking comedian. Yeah. It's like, no, we're not having Arnold in this fucking movie.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah. Here's another name for you, Ronnie Barker. Excuse me, Ronnie Barker.
We lost a couple of really great character actors this year so far. It's been
and Uncle Remus brings up Leslie Nielsen. Incredible. Love that guy.
Well, he was somebody who reinvented himself quite a few times.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, people tend to remember his latest iteration, like the Naked Gun iteration. But
no, he went from like leading man to heavy, and then he was playing the heavy in a lot of things for a while, and then he went to the whole goofiness side of things. But
yeah, we've got Simon Parkin weighing in here saying the House of Dragon blows that terrible Rings of Power trailer out of the water. Man, how to not get your audience interested in your show? Release something that gives the audience no indication of what's happening or what could happen during the course.
And the one thing that I said that, that we were just talking about before that would work against, Game of Thrones, that's all it really has going against it, right?
Right.
Unlike Lord of the Rings, which has almost a book you could write about the things going against that thing going into this thing. Like the worst thing you have with House of Dragon is, the last season blew. That was kind of where you're at with this. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that answers the question we've had was the audience, hurt enough by that? But now we'll have to see if they stick around and if they actually gain some new viewers in the process. Now that I think once 2 or 3 episodes are out and if there's a good audience response, I think other people that have kind of been worried about coming back to the franchise will probably change their mind. And it might work out for them.
If the next 2 episodes are good, Tom, because this last episode, the first episode was just a setup, right? And I was like, meh. In fact, that was my review. In fact, the thumbnail of my review is meh, because that's kind of how I felt about it. It's an establishment. This is where we are. This is where we're going.
But now take yourself back. And if that final season or even the finale would have been a fucking maze of balls, and you'd have been waiting for this with bated breath, and I imagine your reaction to it might not have been.
I don't know, dude. I'm pretty much I don't get overly effusive about things unless they're of quality.
Could be. I've never seen a Game of Thrones, so I don't know anything about it. But I know there's dragons and floppy wieners.
Yes, there are, according to Cartman. But Johnny Skinwalker, I did not lose a bet. I have a dermatological appointment that requires I be substantially less facially haired. So there we go. Let's see. Rings of Power is just off-brand Game of Thrones. Yeah, that's true. And I think we had another member chat. I think, yes, we did. Pinochet's Helicopter Tours, member for 22 months. My goodness, right from the beginning. Rewards Club member would love to see a collab with Pop Culture Crisis. I would love that too. Love to do that. If they want to do that, reach out. Love to do that. If they want to reach out, I guess I could reach out. That'd be awesome. All right. Well, we are winding down. Unfortunately, we were only going to do an hour. And so we're going to stick to that. We got through all of the stories. I want to say thank you to both of you gentlemen for being here. Your time is incredibly valuable. I know that you are putting everything together all the time. Andre, is there anything you would like to promote for the channel on the way out the door, my friend?
Join us back again tomorrow for Midnight's Edge in the morning. And we'll have regular scripted videos return probably tomorrow. Yeah, I think it's going to be one tomorrow.
If I don't lose my mind between now and this afternoon, we might have a mead. But we'll see.
You might have a mead?
Yeah.
You sound pretty tired.
No, it's just Andre knows how much this stuff frazzles me when it comes to... We're working on a Sonya video, so I'm just
it sounds like you're tap dancing like crazy too on some other stuff.
So. Yeah, because we got new Red Sonja as well, Emily.
I'm that kind of is exciting.
And then the Batman news kind of threw us for a bit of a tizzy. We're just kind of like, what?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm confused.
Well, obviously, Tom, if you do have Midnight's Edge After Dark, obviously we'll try to get a crowd over there as well. Check out in about a half an hour, Lorena Creel's channel. There's going to be a theme park therapy stream with Chris Gore. So
Cool.
should be a good time. Of course, that's if Chris is available. He's a very busy person too. But anyway, thank you, gentlemen, once again for being here, and for all of you out in the chat. I truly appreciate you. If I missed your chat, it wasn't on purpose. It's just the fact that we were cooking through this show and we got through a lot of stories. We're going to run the outro and the credits. Everybody have a great day. See you other places, and be sure to take care of others. Wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye.